The city council is backing off a bit on a lawsuit filed against the Louisiana Secretary of State. At issue where you could or could not drop off absentee ballots. Now, the council won't go after the Secretary of State right now, but as Danny Monteverdi reports, the issue isn't going away.
At New Orleans City Hall on Wednesday, some people handed in absentee ballots. They were dropped into a locked box staffed by an employee of the Orleans Parish Registrar's Office. Boxes like that one took center stage in a case next door at Civil Court. The question, could the Orleans Parish Registrar put ballot boxes at different locations across the city after early voting ends? Those boxes, put out for curbside drop-off, would have been staffed by registrar employees. Secretary of State Kyle Ardoin argued drop-offs can only be done where a registrar has offices. In Orleans Parish, that would be City Hall or the Algiers Courthouse. The council disagreed and took him to court.
The Secretary's reading of the law would have limited us to 2 collection sites.
Now, just days after the council filed its lawsuit, they've backed off a bit, at least for the time being. In response to the lawsuit, Ardoin's attorneys wrote, "The Secretary of State never said the registrars cannot accept ballots at early voting sites or at nursing homes." The council's attorney says allowing that pokes holes in Ardoin's earlier argument.
We would like the registrar to be able to collect absentee ballots at any time at safe and secure locations throughout the city.
Attorneys for Orleans Parish Registrar Sandra Wilson wrote in court documents that she doesn't have enough employees to staff extra boxes. And while the council dropped a bit of the lawsuit today, it says it's not going away and they will be back in court to get a definite answer about future elections. Danny Monteverdi, Eyewitness News.
A spokesman for the Secretary of State declined to comment today since the case is still active.